Excited to get back going this week on the road, back in conference play. Got a big challenge this week, and in North Carolina, they're a team that obviously is 2-2, but very easily could be 4-0. They've gotten down in some games, but they don't go away. They keep coming back. And, the biggest thing I would say in watching North Carolina is you can tell and see the influence of the new staff and Coach Brown and what they're trying to do, with the program and the culture there. And you can tell the guys are listening. They believe in what they're talking about. They play incredibly hard, regardless of it's 21-0 or the game is on the line at the end of the game. I mean, they play really, really hard. And they've got some pieces. They're a team that's, like I said, easily could be 4-0, and they're definitely capable of beating us, for sure. They turned it over, 3 times this past week. Pick, sack, fumble, touchdown, and then another big interception. And App took advantage of it, which good teams do. But really impressed with just watching how they play and what they're trying to do. They're very well coached. Defensively, they've got an excellent scheme. They're all over the place. They're multiple in what they do, and they've brought a lot of pressure. Different ways of bringing the pressure. They're not afraid to play man coverage. They'll get up and challenge you outside. They're confident in what they're doing there. The backers are active, and again, everybody's flying around and playing hard and playing physical, and they've gotten better as the games have gone. That's the one characteristic I can say from this bunch. So impressed with their personnel inside. Big 92 and 55 are really, really good football players. They're athletic at end, physical at backer, and again, really confident outside at corner. I don't know if the one safety is going to be there or not, but number one's a good player, and he's a very active guy, physical. So, good group. And then over on the offensive side, very young, but they've got some talent and they got some explosiveness. I think they've had 37 explosives to this point. Everything goes through the quarterback. He's kind of Baker Mayfield-esque, if you will. Probably he's not as fast as Baker, but he's got that type of toughness, grit. Same thing, gets better as the game goes, and seems like the bigger the moment, the better he plays. He's just got a little moxie and savviness to him. Obviously, he's a young player, but makes a lot of plays with his legs. Has a good feel for the pocket, scrambling around. They do run him as well. They'll run some option. They'll run, obviously, the zone read, but they run a lot of quarterback draw as well. And lots of RPOs. And but, for whatever reason, he's been really good in the fourth quarter. If you track him, the fourth quarter he's like 70-something% on his passes of 10 yards or more. Prior to that, he's not near as good. So when the game's been on the line, he's been really good, and he's made some plays. And a guy we offered, everything kind of goes through him. They're young up front. Not sure if their left tackle is going to play. He's a really good player. I think this is the best group of backs we've seen. I think that kid last week might be the best overall back, probably play on Sunday. But this is the best group of backs, and they roll them in and out of there. 8 is quick, fast, scatty. 25 is a really good player. 24 is another guy, senior that's been in there, but 25 has made some explosive plays. They involve the backs a ton. This is a game where we've got to do a great job, especially in the passing game, against these running backs, because they touch the ball a lot. They're quick outside at receiver, a lot of double move type stuff, jerk routes, a bunch of 50-50 balls, sky balls, smash fades. So they push it down the field. They're not afraid to catch it, cock it, and let it rip. That's for sure. So we got to win some competitive plays, try to find a way to keep the quarterback contained, especially on scramble situations, and then we got to do a good job with these backs. But good scheme. You know, they've run a little midline. They've run some speed options, some zone, counter, you know, and everything in between. Mostly 11 personnel, get in some two-back stuff as well. But, again, a very well-coached team and a team that you can see, again, has a plan. They believe in what they're doing. They've got a great spirit to them. You know they're going to be excited to play Clemson, and we'll get the very best version of North Carolina, and we know that. And, again, this is a team that is definitely good enough to beat us, no doubt. So for our team, it's about, you know, continuing to build some momentum, to play well, to build on what we did this past week, to start to look like an experienced team. We've played 4 games now, so let's start to act like we've played 4 games and correct some of the mistakes that we've made, be a little more detailed in some areas, a little more consistent with our technique and fundamentals, and just play fast and be who we are. Play physical, get back to winning the turnover margin, see if we can get that back on the right path. So I'm just really, you know, excited about this trip. It's crazy. This is my 17th year. I've been there one time, and it was a miserable night back in 2010. Probably the worst coaching job I've ever done to this point. So I'm looking forward to this opportunity and hopefully playing our best game and building some confidence and momentum. Got an open date coming up after that. So I think it's hard to believe this is Game 5, and that's how quick it goes. So we're a pretty healthy team right now. So hopefully we can, again, play well, play with some confidence, build momentum, and then really, you know, get into the open date and have a chance to evaluate almost a half a season and do a lot of self-scouting and you know, set up for a good second half. But it's gonna take a great effort this week on our part. So everybody's pumped up about it. I'm excited about competing against Coach Brown. You know, obviously one of the best to ever coach the game, and I think he's also one of the best people to ever coach the game. He is a true gentleman. He loves the players. You know, he's got a lot of relationships from many years at many different schools, and I think, again, one of the most respected people in this business, and has been a great friend to me. And so it's exciting. Not something I ever thought I would ever even have the opportunity to do, would be compete against Coach Brown. So it's kind of cool that get a chance to do that and visit with him a little bit before the game. But and with that, we'll say this: Blake Vincent is out. We're going to go ahead and do surgery on him, so he'll miss the rest of the year with the patella injury. They're going to go ahead and fix that ligament on the side of his kneecap there, just so he doesn't have to deal with this, and go ahead and do it now, so he's ready to go and you know, fully recovered and ready to go for spring practice. So hate that for Blake. Good news is, with the new rule, he can get this year back because he redshirted as a freshman, and the new rule now is if you redshirted as a freshman and then you lose a year for medical purposes, like, you can actually get that year. So technically he could have a 6th year if he wanted it. So that's a good thing for him. But obviously hate that he can't play the rest of this year. So Putnam, who played a lot this last week, who was already going to play this year, but it just gives him more opportunity to get in that mix.
Yeah, but what about your last trip to Chapel Hill that you said was that you didn't do well, that you kind of learned from, I guess?
We just weren't ready to play. I didn't have them ready to play. I did a terrible job. They just weren't ready. Turned the ball over, missed kicks. I just didn't have them ready. Simple as that.
I remember you came into that tent outside the end zone there after that game, and you kind of gathered your thoughts, and you said, "I'll fix this." But what were your thoughts on the way home? What was going through your mind?
Oh, how bad a job I did getting us ready that week. As simple as that. Nobody's fault but mine.
How much different is going into week 5 this season as opposed to years past with the redshirt rule now? I mean, the decisions that have to be made and some of the guys that have maybe already played 4 games.
Not really that different for us. I don't think we got anybody that's in that situation right now at this point because we don't have, the guys that have played in 4 games. They're guys that are going to play. So I'm trying to think who. So like Ngata, Ladson. I mean, those guys are going to play. Ches, Dukes, they're going to play. So I don't even if they've played in 4 games. Maybe 3, 2 or 3. But so Charleston, Xanders, I think maybe they've played in all 4, maybe at least on special teams. So we don't really have anybody that's in that category for us right now. Again, because we got a few guys that we know we want to hold that will play in 4 games, but they haven't played in 4 yet. So, that's something could change between now and I don't know when it'll come. Maybe it's game 7, maybe it's game 8. Something could change, but nothing different for us.
Dabo, you mentioned a couple of players you guys recruited. The one being Sam Howell, the other one Dorn, the safety that plays for those guys. Can you talk a little bit about Miles Dorn and what he's done there since he got there?
He's a good player. He's active. He's physical. He's an aggressive player. He's one of their veteran guys, smart, and there's another kid there too, the Cameron Kelly, another guy we offered early on, and I think he signed with Auburn. And I guess transferred up there, but he's the one safety. I'm not sure if he's going to play, and if he doesn't play, I'm sure Cameron will get more opportunity. But another good player. So they got some good guys, and obviously Sam Howell. We really loved him. Thought he was a great player, and he's going to be. He's a good player now. He's made a lot of plays. He's a big reason they've had a chance to win every game. And I think when he's in the game, he gives them that chance every week to win. He's that type of guy.
What can you say about the trend in college football with freshman quarterbacks and given the responsibilities they are? Does it go back to what's going on in the 7-on-7s and then with the way they're being trained these days, brought up?
Well, I think it's a couple things. Yeah, first of all, yes, these guys are so much more experienced than they used to be. But then also you got guys leaving. You got a lot of guys that don't stick around. So there's just more opportunity for freshmen to come in. Nobody there. So I think the backup's a freshman as well. Number 10, and I think he played a little bit. He got in there against Wake Forest some. So I think it's a combination of those things. Again, guys are just so much more developed because of there's year-round football for them now. With the 7-on-7s and things like that. But the other factor is, a lot of guys don't stick around anymore. And so, in the culture today, so there's gaps and there's openings and so forth. So it was just good timing for some of these guys.
How much is there? Have they had to simplify things because of their injuries, particularly in the offensive line?
They're still doing what they do. I mean, they're gonna get the ball on the perimeter. They a lot of RPOs, a lot of play action stuff. It's not like they want to just sit there and make a living with the drop back, and have to sort all the protections and all that because they are young up front. I think they don't even have a junior. They're all freshmen and sophomores up front, and the 2 left tackles, if 67 can't play, are both freshmen. And 6'7's he's a good player. That guy's he's long and does a really nice job. But so they're just really young and they're doing a good job of trying to, again, they're well coached and they know what they're doing and they're trying to give them a chance to be successful with their scheme. Balls out quick. Again, the RPO stuff kind of slows everything down, creates some gaps, and then they just got to make some plays. And then they're getting rid of the ball and some 50-50 shots. And you either make the play or you don't, but at least your quarterback's not getting hit. And and then they're running the ball. They've popped some big runs on everybody. Everybody they've played, they've popped big runs. 8 and 2. Again, as a group, this is the best group of backs that we've seen. And then the receivers are really quick, do a good job in space. So when you've made it, when people make it easy on them, like when I mean easy on them to kind of dissect what's happening, you know, they get the ball, they get rid of the ball, and they've been able to come down with some of those. But they're not, you know, they're not asking them to sit back there and, you know, pat the ball. So it's a good combination of the run game and a little bit of quarterback run, a lot of quarterback draw, and mixed in with some screens. Get the ball on the perimeter quickly, whether it be some midline speed option or just, you know, passing game to the backs. You got to cover these backs because they're running. They're free release them, run them, and they find them. And they got good hands, and they, you know, they're two of their best players. And so they get them the ball in space and let them go play. So I think they've done a nice job of again giving themselves a chance to be successful. But definitely they are young up front. But this quarterback, he's I mean, he's as tough as they come. I mean, he's taking some hits, and he just gets better. And he doesn't run to get down. I mean, he's running to punish people. I mean, he's a tough, hard-nosed player, and again, gritty, savvy, moxie, all those things, all the things that we liked about him. And he can throw the ball. I mean, if you look at the 2-point play against, might have been, I think it was Wake, right at the end when they scored, and I mean they need a 2-point play, and I mean they trips into the boundary, and he throws a laser to the tight end, the number 2 receiver there. It's a big time play, and so he's got with the game on the line, and I mean he's got that in him.
When did you meet Mack?
When I meet him, when I went to visit him in 2009. Yeah, I had not ever met Coach Brown. You know, he was, you know, I take that back. I might have met him in '93. I was a GA at Alabama. And my first year coaching was '93, and we played North Carolina in the Gator Bowl. And, I mean, maybe I met him after the game and said, hey, you know, good game. That'd be, I mean, maybe. I don't remember. But other than that, I just haven't crossed paths with him. Obviously was an assistant for a long time, and then he was out in Texas, so he wasn't in the league when I came to Clemson, and we never competed against him when I was at Alabama, so just never really, other than when that one Gator Bowl game, but I just always followed him, always tracked him, always thought he did a great job. Obviously built Texas, put Texas kind of, you know, back on the upper echelon of things. They were outstanding, and you know, played in a couple national championships. Obviously won one of them, and so I get the job in 2009. And we, you know, once I got the recruiting class over with, that first group there early February, you know, I'd put some calls out in January. Once we got done recruiting, I knew what I just wanted to go visit with some people, as I really had a chance to get you know, I didn't get that chance, you know, as an interim. You just jump in, tie it in the middle, and let it hang at both ends, you know. I mean, you're just hanging on. So I was excited to be able to start fresh, you know, with an off-season program, spring practice, planning, start to get the processes and philosophies that I believed in place. And I reached out to a few people, and Mack was the only one that said, hey, yeah, come on, you know. And I didn't know him from Adam. And I had called and left a message, and he called me back and was like, you know, like we'd known each other forever. He just started telling me, hey, how he had followed what we had done during our interim time, and he was happy. And he was like, man, love to have you guys come out here. Come on out here. And I'd hired Woody, and he knew Woody. And so next thing you know, we went out there and took the whole staff, really, literally everybody. Strength coach, everybody, and everybody was gracious. Coach Muschamp was the D coordinator. He was awesome. He was very gracious to us, and they all took time. And I was just hoping to maybe get a little bit of time. You know, obviously we were studying ball. We were studying kind of a bunch of XO stuff, but I was hoping to maybe get a little bit of time with Mack too, just some head coach things I just wanted to talk about. Hey, am I on the right track here? Am I crazy? Or how do you handle this? What's your thoughts on that? You know, just bounce some things off of him. And shoot, he spent hours with me. And I just soaked it up. It was great. And he just let me. He was very patient with me. And I just, I had all my questions, and I just went from one to the other. And then he'd answer like 3 of them at one time because he could almost read my mind, So it was really cool for me. Again, some of it was just really confirmation, and some of it was maybe a different way to think about something or something that I just hadn't thought about yet that, he'd been there, done that. And he's like, oh, let me tell you what's going to happen here. And, and sure enough, later on down the road, I was like, yeah, he was right about that. So anyway, and then I learned some things of what not to do. I think you learn good and bad everywhere you go. And so it was an awesome visit. Again, he was very great. Took us all to dinner. One of our nights out there, he took all of us to dinner, and that was super cool. And went to practice. Got a chance to watch how they practice. I'll never forget that either because I don't know what I had in my mind. I'd never been to Austin, Texas. Beautiful city, but I'd never been there. Beautiful campus too. But and they had awesome facilities. That was the other thing. I wanted to kind of see their facilities and just how they structured things and academics, you name it. But I'll never forget it. We were getting ready to go to practice, and everybody gets on a bus, and we go. I just had no concept, and it was the wildest thing because we go out to practice, and there's literally an interstate that goes right over the practice. It's like, hook 'em, hook 'em, they blow the horn, and it was wild, because y'all obviously know the setting that we have here. It's like, look at the rainbow, look at the butterfly. Wow, there's a crow on the moat. Did you see that crane? It's like, it's just different. You don't hear anything. So it was just a different deal, but it was their norm. Just what it's a bigger city, a lot going on in Austin. I think there's about maybe 1 million people there or so. But it was a great trip and very beneficial. But the biggest thing is we became friends, and he out of the blue would send me texts and just encourage me along the way, and we just became friends. Our wives became friends, and then all of a sudden now as the head coach, I'm in different places. You get invited to different things, and you have to go to different head coach stuff, and so I would see him there, and I'd always kind of I didn't really know a lot of people, so I'd go hang out with him, and he would always be nice to me, and same thing with his wife. So just great people. And then he got out of coaching and got into the TV world and did some of our games, and so we spent a lot of time talking, and whether it be talking strategy or talking whatever, and then when he got put in the studio, got the big time job, and he'd always text me and want to know the keys to the game, I'd send him, like, I got to give Mack Brown, my tidbits here. And so I'm waiting until Friday night. And that's when he'd usually hit me, like Friday night, 8 o'clock. Hope you're good. How about a few thoughts on the game? I'm at the movie or something. So I'm planning on sending him a text Friday night. We'll know, his keys to victory or something. Best way to defend Clemson or whatever. So we'll see if he responds. I doubt it.
That was after the 08 or 09 when you went out to Austin.
It was February of 09. I'd just gotten the job. Just signed our first recruiting class. Signed those 12 guys, and that was eye-opening too. Just the whole recruiting process. Holy cow! I'll never forget that either because we had just signed 12 guys. And I'm excited about going out on the road, or that spring. Everybody getting out and let's evaluate the upcoming seniors. And I'll never forget it. They already had their whole next class committed. They were recruiting sophomores. It was crazy. But it's Texas. Everybody wants to go there. So they got all those 10 million people in the state of Texas. But it was just that was just not my world. That was a whole different world for us. But really neat. I thought, as far as how they went about their criteria, their evaluation, academics, and so forth.
They lost their foothold, which nobody really expected at that time. Has he since shared with you any insights or lessons that he?
No, not really. Not that I would share. No, y'all can ask him that. I just know he did an unbelievable job there, and he'll do a great job at North Carolina too. He understands North Carolina. He'll recruit well, and the biggest thing, he'll build a foundation, and he's going to create consistency in everything that they do and discipline. And I don't have any doubt he'll get them going. And he's got a quarterback. He's got a guy that he can build it around.
What are some similarities between what your program is now at Clemson and what Texas was when Mack was?
Well, we've had 8 10-plus win seasons in a row, so consistency, probably the biggest thing. I think they were very, very consistent, and we've become very, very consistent. They recruiting well. We recruit well. He had great quarterbacks. We have great quarterbacks. They had some good defenses. We've had good defenses. He had good staff. I got a good staff. So I think a lot of those similarities. They had great facilities. We now have great facilities. But there's more differences, than similarities. I mean, that's probably the biggest thing is again, the consistency that we've had as programs. But, I mean, Clemson's a whole different animal from Texas. I mean, it's night and day when it comes to our programs, as far as just infrastructure, our states, recruiting, base and so forth. It's just different.
Last couple of years, North Carolina lost a lot of close games. They played in 4 and won 3. I know you hadn't scouted them specifically, but you've probably seen them scout other teams. What's the difference that you see? How do you instill a belief? You had to do a little bit of that and overcoming some of those obstacles and winning close games as a coach.
Well, it's your off season. It's your meetings daily. It's your communication, your messaging, your relationships, your staff, because it all kind of, trickles down that way. And, I think it's a holistic approach to the job. It's being honest and just tell them the truth. Communication leads to trust and respect and so forth. So, and then I think that credibility. Mack brings a lot of credibility. It's a Hall of Famer. He didn't get lucky and coached for 50 years. He's pretty good. Knows what he's doing. Knows how to manage people. Knows the game. Knows what buttons to push. Knows the intangibles that win, and how to instill those things and so forth. Whether again, a team meeting, how you practice, your off-season program, how you manage your staff. All of those things, and then obviously recruiting and being able to connect and create and articulate a vision and instill that belief in others. You got to be able to do that, and he's amazing when it comes to that type of stuff. And it's really easy to see that. Again, you can, as a coach. This is what I do. And I look at things, and I sometimes I laugh because I look at that. I'll hear some of the rhetoric. And then I'll look at it and be like, they are crazy, they're terrible, but yet they're made to be great. Or I'll look at it and people say they're bad or whatever, and I look at them and go, these guys are pretty good. They've just had a few bad breaks. They've had this, they've had that, whatever. And I just see things for how they are. And all I can tell you is that you can easily see the spirit, the toughness, the competitiveness, how they're trying to play physical, how hard they're playing. They're playing as a team, and you can see that they care. And otherwise you get down 21-0, and it's the 21-0 like going in the fourth quarter. If you don't have the right culture and you don't have the right stuff within your program, that can get bad in a hurry. But man, sure enough, here they come. And that's coaching. That's coaching, and he's got enough to win with, and again, enough to beat us. We lost to Syracuse. They won 4 games that year. He's got plenty to beat us. Anybody can beat us. We're not entitled to win. We got to earn it every week. We got to earn it, and we have great humility and respect for that process that it takes to earn it. But he's got enough, and but he right now they just don't have quite some of the depth, and so I think if they could stay healthy, they got a chance to be maybe a bowl team, but they've had a couple of tough injuries already, and just don't have a lot of the depth that they'll recruit to. I'm sure.
Dabo, you said a lot about Jackson Carman's good play on the field. Could you share a little bit of insight into what he's like off the field? He appears to be a guy with a variety of interests aside from the game of football.
Oh, he is. He is a dynamic human being. He's very, very smart, first of all. Very smart. Incredibly talented. He's an unbelievable singer. Like, he's got one of the best voices. I mean, like, would just capture the room type of voice. He can play the guitar. He plays the piano. I mean, he cooks, bakes. I mean, there's just really not much that Jackson can't do. And he surfs. I mean, you ever see him surf on behind the boat? I mean, he can flip the board around. I mean, he's just a really unique guy to go along with being a humongous human being. He's a really talented player, and he's just gotten serious about it too. It's become, really important. I think he wants to be the best in the country. I don't think he just wants to be the best in this league. I think he wants to be the best in the country. And so he's just got an edge and a drive to him that is very encouraging for a young player. His first year starting, and I think he's just gotten serious about life, accountability, discipline. He was very immature when he got here, not in a bad way, just couldn't show up on time. Making a 5:30 workout was like hard for him. So he was one of the least accountable guys and had a lot of maturing and growing up to do. And once he realized that there wasn't going to be any compromise, just because he's a good player, he eventually bought in, and it's just been sky straightforward for him. I mean, he's doing well in school. I'm just really proud of him. I mean, he's just really mature, and it's fun. That's the best part for me, because I remember the first time I met him. Really talented, good kid. He's very immature. And a lot of maturing to do. And just as a person and getting serious. And, you're never going to be a good player. You're never going to reach your potential if you don't change your commitment in some areas. How you take care of your body, getting serious about the weight room, being a real student of the game. You can't just be a big guy that's athletic. You might be a decent player, but you're not going to reach your potential. And he just really bought in to that whole process of what he's got to do, and it's been awesome. And Mitch did a great job of really mentoring him, and then these other guys. I mean, he got nowhere. I mean, you talking about John Simpson, Ankrum, Pollard, Cervinka. Those are 4 great leaders, unbelievably committed, and it was like, hey, this is how it's going to be. And Jackson, man, he jumped in there, and now he's leading. He's a leader. He's become a leader for us. And if you'd have told me that this time last year, I'd have laughed at you. He's just kind of, happy-go-lucky, and this is easy. He's now really become a very polished, complete player, and still got a lot of work to do, but I'm just super, super proud of his progress on and off the field. Academically, just socially, just as a man. And certainly on the field, his presence has been felt these first 4 games. He's been awesome.
How did you become aware of his voice as a guy that sings around the locker room?
Well, first time I ever met him, I got a guitar in my office that Spiller gave me, from the Music City Bowl, and then I got another one in there that Lee Bryce gave me. I got guitars. I can't play a string. I mean, I can, but we're just trying to have a conversation. He's just like drifting, and next thing I know, he just goes over and gets a guitar and just starts playing the guitar. I'm like, well, that's first. So that was my first time I ever met him. He was playing the guitar, and then we have Club All In every year. It's kind of our mythical day that nobody knows when it's coming, and we always have fun with that. And so, it's kind of our rookie night, if you will. And I mean, he's amazing. and now he's confident too. So I mean, he can flat out sing, a cappella, and so this year, he and 2 or 3 other guys, they volunteered to get up there, and I mean, he nailed it. I mean, he was the best performance of the day. He's just really talented. I mean, really, really talented. Could do anything. I mean, there's not really anything that I don't think Jackson can do.
Any update on Justyn Ross?
He's good. He's good. You know, he was ready to play last week. He was a little just hampered. Just a little hip flexor, just a little tinge of pain in there for him, and had been bothering him, and he just kind of been playing through it. In fact, we didn't even know about it because that's just kind of how he is, and was bothering him. And so we treated him all week, and he was feeling better. And game time, he really felt great. And he was ready to go. And I said, well, let's just hold you right now, and let's see how we do. And because I mean, he's a thoroughbred, man, and he looked great last night. So and it was noticeably different, just his gait, and he feels great. They did a good job with him all last week as far as treating it and how they stretched him, and because all of a sudden that affects your hamstring, affects your lat, and so he's good, ready to go.
Dabo, do you discuss with your team the fact that North Carolina's been down in the fourth quarter of every game and they seem to just...
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So I talked about that last night with them. This is a team that ain't going to go away. I don't care. I mean, it might be 21-0. They ain't going away. They're just not. They're down 20 to 9, I think, against South Carolina, and here they come. Down against Miami, down against App. Down 21-0 to Wake most of the game. Like the end of the third quarter, I think they got a field goal to make it 21-3. So, they just absolutely. We try to do that every week and kind of who they are. This is what's the personality of this team we're getting ready to play, and easy to see that when you watch the tape. Again, they just don't quit. They just keep playing.
When you went to Texas to watch that practice, did Coach Brown introduce you and your staff, or you all sort of watching from the background?
Oh, we just watched. Heck, no, they didn't know who I was. I had no clue who I was out there. We just watched. Yeah, we just hung around and watched them.
Dabo,
A couple days.
I know you don't care anything about rankings right now, or probably for weeks and weeks, but generally speaking, looking at the playoff committee over the 5 years, how do you think they've performed, and are there any tweaks you'd like to see in the way they go about their business?
The playoff committee, I think they've gotten it right. I mean, I think they've gotten it right. I really do. I mean, I thought the 1 year that Alabama got in, I just simply thought, I caught a lot of grief. Coach Saban put me all over the bulletin board down there because, I said Ohio State, they'd won the league and Alabama hadn't won the division, but obviously they got it right. They know more than me. Alabama won it all. So beat us and then went on to win it. So I think they got it right. I don't know what else to say.
Anybody else? All right, thanks, Coach.
Okay, appreciate it.